All right, let's go, because you know what I came here to do.
I don't get paid for overtime. I'm here to fight.
Martin Bakole weighed in a similar weight to Tyson Fury, and he really did fight a big man's fight. I actually thought Takam would take advantage and use his speed to collect the points against Bakole, but Bakole, he held that ring center, controlled the early stages behind his jab, and let's keep it real, Takam looked a bit in awe of the man mountain in front of him. He didn't look like he really wanted it the first round. Martin looked different in there, like the weight has even morphed his facial features. Takam was moving his body from the waist side to side, but he just couldn't seem to figure it out. But neither man did much in the first or second. It was fencing for the most part. Takam started to get through with some shit though, using the speed advantage to land hooks and overhand rights, which just bounced off Bakole like he was a brick wall. Bakole started landing some 1-2s though, heavy stuff, and he's backing Takam up, and Takam was bobbing and weaving, trying to get away from this man mountain just walking right over and through him. And the third was a good round. It was really a good round. Great inside work from both men. Takam putting his head on Bakole's chest, working away, opted to stay close on Bakole rather than at range because he was having no success there. Bakole back to the ropes, countering. Good stuff. Cameroon versus the Congo. Takam, he got caught with that left uppercut on the ropes. Darren Barker called it, and he didn't really recover. And the co-commentator with Darren Barker, he observed that Bakole threw a lot of punches, and at that weight there, you have to wonder how much it took out of him. But one thing Bakole has never lacked is volume. For a man of that size, whether lighter or that size there, his volume punching for a heavyweight is very impressive. This is what I'm saying. All the heavyweights have different strengths. That's why we need to see a good sample size of contenders and champions fighting. We need to see that. In the fourth round, Takam was forced to abandon his plan to stand toe-to-toe with Martin. Martin was just too big and powerful, and he landed a powerful left hook, and Takam was just on the retreat, trying to keep him off with a jab. He kept feeling his face with his gloves like, was he injured?
300 pounds worth of power behind those shots.
Bakole claims he stopped Usyk with a body shot, and I believe him. Whether he should have snitched the sparring story to the public, different question, but yeah, I believe it happened. There was a big right to Takam's head, a left hook to the body, and the punishment threatened to overwhelm him, and the referee jumped in the fourth. It was a good stoppage. And a very good victory from Martin Bakole. Who's next for him is the question. I mean, he's put a decent run together of fights. Stopped Takam, first man to beat Tony Yoka, hasn't lost since the Michael Hunter fight, which seemed an eternity ago. Ben Shalom and Boxer and Sky, they let him fight on this card because they've got nothing for him over there. They're not going to pitch Fraser Clark in with Martin Bakole. Fraser Clark was there for the David Adeleye FABIO Wardley fight, and he got up at the side of the ring, obviously calling for the title shot against Wardley. TNT Steve Bunce, he didn't allow, or he didn't accommodate a situation where Fraser Clark could square up to FABIO Wardley. I don't know if someone gave Bunce the heads up, because there's no guarantee that fight will be on BT. So why would he allow a Ben Shalom promoted fighter to get airtime on a fight being promoted by BT? I mean, FABIO Wardley, he's a free agent. David Adeleye was no match for FABIO Wardley in the British heavyweight title fight. David tried all the tricks, done a lot of talking pre-fight. FABIO found himself on the floor at a press conference when it looked like Adeleye's brother and his entourage came to start trouble. None of this unsettled FABIO. It was now 17 wins, no losses, no draws, and 16 inside the distance. Adeleye slips to 12 wins, 1 loss, 11 inside the distance. Somebody on the hangout pointed out that David's legs look underdeveloped, and the strength gap is something I didn't really take into consideration, and David knew it. David weighed in 232, FABIO weighed in 241, and that 9 pounds seemed to make all the difference. FABIO dominated, and I say dominated, the ring center for the majority of the contest. You know, like David didn't do too badly. Landed some lead left hooks, some sneaky stuff. Tried to rough Fabio up. He got warned for that. Fabio made a few errors, like, in the clinch. He seemed to be looking out at the crowd while David was swinging away at him and clubbing him up. I don't know what that's all about. Fabio's got a few idiosyncrasies to his fight game, but he can fight. The finish, the left hook, the right hand left hook finish. David got up and was just getting battered. His legs were all about the place, and the referee rightly called it off. David was asking for a rematch, but Dave, come on, man. No, there's no rematch in the immediate future. You got to get back in the queue and work on your craft. It's a shame that Sokolowski has went over to this bare knuckle boxing thing. Adeleye should run that one back. They should run that back. And if they can get Sokolowski back in the ring, put him through some serious testing, they should make that fight. I don't know what action the board are going to take on Adeleye. He punched the referee to the body when the fight was stopped and pushed him. And you're not supposed to put your hands on the referee. There will be a stiff reprimand for that. Maybe a big fine. And a suspension. When I compared that fight to the Fury and Ngannou fight, the speed of the punches in comparison to Fury and Ngannou, you could hear the whip sounding effect on Wardley mostly, and Adeleye too, on their punches. Their punches were thrown at a lot more speed, and that's probably because they came in a lot lighter. Fabio, second defense of the British title, trained by Ben Davison. He doesn't seem in no hurry to relinquish that British strap yet. And may that be a warning to the likes of Isaac Chamberlain. Don't give up your strap. You just got it. Defend it a couple of times. And only relinquish that strap if a great opportunity at world title level comes about. Post-fight, Fabio seemed to be taking a little snipe at those who still refer to him as white collar Fabio. He's now saying that he knows what he's doing and he looked comfortable in there. He's only 2 years older than David Adeleye, and he's a free agent. Fabio has a lot of upside right now. And you can't go away. You can't leave a Fabio Wardley fight saying you weren't entertained. Show me one fight you can walk away that Fabio's had that you said Fabio hasn't provided good entertainment, hard punching, eventful fights. The question is now, can he transition from British level to European to world? I want to big up Amanda Serrano. I'm not going to get into GOAT talk, but if we're talking about the current best women's boxer, it could be Amanda. I was always saying Clarissa than Katie, but it could be Amanda, working behind that southboard jab, cutting the ring off beautifully, timing her opponent as she tried to spin off the ropes with her hooks. Great technique, great talent. And she always hurts her opponents, Amanda. Something spiteful in her punches. And this was a 12 freeze fight, so she created history. Ramos, the Brazilian, I liked her style. She moves very nicely. Great pair of legs and, a flashy little bursts of punches. Although she came off second, I liked her style. Serrano against the winner of Taylor and Cameron. If necessary, they could have it at a catch weight. I'd love to see it. Is anyone in the comment section saying that Cameron is a little too big for her? I don't know. Amanda didn't neglect the body with either hand. And while the 12-3 duration didn't help her secure the stoppage, the theory being they've got 3 minutes to work for the round, and in 2 minutes sometimes you're just getting warmed up. It didn't help her get the stoppage, but it allowed her to put her full repertoire on display. And like the Brazilian girl gave a good display of defensive boxing, and she tried her best. And that is classy combinations. And she's got them kind of Hector Camacho, Willie Pep type of feet. She's got some beautiful footwork. But she got lumped up, bruh. Amanda lumped her up. Them championship rounds, she put it on her, man. Good fighter. Ramos was exhausted. She looked tired. And she was grateful just to get through to see the final bell. And it must have been tough on her as well. She's probably never done 12 threes. And Amanda hasn't, but she's been pushing for it. She's geared up and prepped for that. And let me just be honest, you know what I mean? Amanda probably won't like what I've got to say, but there aren't many girls who are as good as Amanda, capable of doing 12 threes. And some girls will find themselves overmatched doing 12 threes, and health and safety could be an issue. Gotta be realistic.
Let's be realistic.
Now the WBC, they wouldn't sanction this fight, or it would have been for Undisputed. They wouldn't sanction it on grounds of safety. They've got it documented for safety reasons why it's not a good idea for women to fight 3-minute rounds, and they're standing on their square. Serrano is the undisputed champion at feather, but she couldn't put her WBC belt on the line for the reasons I just stated. This was a difficult one. First 4 rounds, SHAQUIE or Foster, he used a lot of the ring. It looked like the ring was a little small. He boxed well. Rocky Hernandez, he came with the pressure. He was trying to land that left hook. And whenever the action stopped still, he would throw to the body and work. SHAQUIE, the more stylish boxer, it was hard to decide in a lot of the early rounds who won what. In the third, the referee started getting onto SHAQUIE for holding. I didn't see it that excessive, really. And then he got onto him for punching behind the back of the head. And then, I think SHAQUIE realized that him going over to Mexico, defending his WBC super featherweight belt, he might not get too much favors out there. And he started throwing hands in the fourth. Very difficult fight to score after 4. Foster seemed uncomfortable in there, maybe because the referee was reprimanding him a lot. And in the 5th, he did land his fair share of punches, but the aggression from Hernandez probably shaded him the round. Like, Hernandez didn't have no respect for Foster's power. He was walking in there with his hands down, mocking SHAQUIE, and this fight is heating up. Hernandez, however, is loading up a whole lot. And you have to wonder, would his output slow down? The 6th round, this is a battle of wills right now. SHAQUIE switched southpaw. His trainer wants him to work the body, but what's the logistics on that? He's the taller guy, so he's going to have to arch down, throw body shots, and he doesn't look like he's comfortable doing that. What's he going to do? Throw body shots and leave his chin exposed in the air. But he picked some very good shots. Hernandez, his work rate is very good. He's like a little buzzsaw. A lot of it is not hitting the target. He's best when he whacks to the body. A lot of people said this fight was controversial in that the fix was in, but from the fight I watched, it was hard to score a lot of them rounds. I'd probably give SHAQUIE the 6th. SHAQUIE is frustrated by the aggression. He's frustrated. Like, he's gone back to orthodox in the 7th, and he's decided to fight in the pocket with Hernandez. SHAQUIE lands a brilliant right uppercut, but Hernandez comes back with uppercuts, hooks, and if you're going to fight inside, you can't go to the clinch, and SHAQUIE goes to the clinch, and Rocky works the whole way through the round. I would give Rocky the 7th. Not as much action in the 8th. Foster kept range pretty well, and that cut between Rocky's right eye and his cheek is leaking now. And he seemed to slow up quite a lot towards the end of the round. He threw a lot of punches, a whole lot, and he's loading up. It's got to take something out of you. In the 9th round, Hernandez is trying to box on the back foot, taking the role as counterpuncher, and Foster is going after him. Hernandez loses the round. What's going on? You can't box with SHAQUIE. Looks like Rocky took the 9th off and he went back on the front foot, high guard, and both men went hammer and tongs, hammering each other with hooks from both hands. I'll give Rocky the round. Give Rocky the round, you know what I mean? Like, we're going into them championship rounds and it's all or nothing for either man. Tough fight. That 10th round was hard round. I should be more animated, really, but I'll just say the 11th round is not for the faint-hearted. If you think that Fury and Ngannou is a circus, go watch this. This is the fight of the weekend wrap-up. No doubt about that. You see rounds like that? They blunt fighters, period. Rounds like that blunt your career. I tell you what, I'm not going to exaggerate. Maybe the best 3 minutes in terms of action. I'm going back in my archives, my mental archives. Yo, savage, bro. Savage. Like, Hernandez started it on the front foot. SHAQUIE, I think he landed that left hook and he hurt Hernandez. Hernandez didn't know where he was. Hernandez is looking away at the crowd and, you know what I mean, he's lit, bust up and everything. and he looks out on his feet. He's getting drilled. The fight looks like it's going to get stopped. Somehow he returns fire and hurts Shaqui. Shaqui's backed up on the ropes, and is he going to go that way? Shaqui comes back, bludgeoning Hernandez, and the round ends. Oh my days. Yo, if you haven't seen it, do whatever you can to get hold of this fight and see if I'm exaggerating when you watch the 11th. How he didn't go down from that left hook. How he didn't go down. And perhaps he should have. Perhaps he should have took a knee, because the punishment he took after. See, Shaqui, him and his trainer know they're not going to get a decision out here. You know what I mean? You need to finish the fight. You need to finish it. Apparently Hernandez was up on the scorecards. A lot of people are saying that a robbery was about to take place. Yeah. Look at the state of Hernandez, man. He turned away from the action, man, to seek refuge, but there was none. He came back at Shaqui. In the 12th, Shaqui landed that overhand right, vicious, top of the head. Credit due to Hernandez. He bit down and he took it, but he's clearly hurt now. He's backing up into the ropes and forcing himself, because he knows all he has to do is get through to the last round, and there's a good chance the scorecards will be in his favor. Foster, he's southpaw in the 12th. Hernandez, he's trying to survive, but Shaqui is after him now. Hernandez is being hunted. A right hand with 1:44 on the clock puts Hernandez down. He gets up in time to continue somehow. Like, this kid has got the heart of a lion. The punishment he's took in the last two, but he's taking 1-2s, uppercuts. He's just getting battered. He doesn't know where he is. Another right hook got in there. He's down again with a minute on the clock. He's looking at his corner, he's looking at the crowd, but no one can help him here. No one can help him. Foster in total charge. In total charge. The referee mercifully stopped the fight with 29 seconds to go, and Hernandez wasn't happy. He wasn't happy about it. He would have preferred to go out on his shield, but there's only so much punishment you can be allowed to take. His cornermen weren't going to throw the towel in, and Foster defends his 130-pound WBC championship. Wow. Amazing stuff. Absolutely amazing. Wow. Eddie flew into Mexico. Hernandez is a matchroom fighter, and there's a lot of expectation on Hernandez to bring that belt back to Mexico. They paid a lot to get the champion over there. And the expectation was, if Hernandez can KO this kid, they'll set up the fight with Joe Cordina. But maybe the next thing is to try and get Shaqui over to the UK to have a unification with Joe Cordina. It's a fight Cordina could win. I believe Cordina was better than Hernandez, but he can't sleep on this guy here. You know what I mean? He needs a long rest himself, though. He took some punishment himself. Look at that right hand. That downwards right cross put him on the canvas. Great punch. Beautiful leverage. Not much effort, but beautifully delivered. Took everything out of Hernandez. The second knockdown, he was just defenseless for the two right crosses that went in there. Wow, he took 2 uppercuts in the last attack and a couple of hooks. He was getting absolutely hammered, and he still protested the stoppage. He really wanted to win this fight. They say Shaqui is a slick boxer. Sometimes you got to abandon that to keep your belts. All the greats have did it. And yeah, Joe Cordina is fighting Vasquez next week on DAZN. So I was looking at what the fuss was all about, because a lot of my subscriptions said the robbery was on schedule until Shaqui stopped Hernandez in the 12th. And now I'm seeing what they're saying. I mean, the first score I'm seeing here in Hernandez's favor, 110.99. 110.99. Even 107, 102 in Hernandez's favor is reaching. The other scorecard had Shaqui up 106, 103 going into the final round. And let's consider that Shaqui battered Hernandez in the 11th. He didn't floor him, but that still could be a 10-8. In my opinion, the 11th was a 10-8. So I see what they're saying. And Shaqui needed that stoppage. He needed that stoppage. Quite shocking, actually, scorecards. So I see what they're saying now. Although a lot of the rounds were hard to score, but still shocking nonetheless.